Hey Globemad geeks, welcome to the Atacama desert in Chile. This is one of the driest places on earth. Now, this area has a fascinating history. Where I'm stood used to be a salt mine, and the building that I'm stood by is actually made of bricks which are from rock salt. So most of the stuff in this rock is sodium chloride salt. Now, sodium chloride is an ionic compound. Ionic compounds have different properties. For example, they're good electrical conductors in solution. That means that when they dissolve in water, the ions become free to move around. The ionic lattice dissociates or breaks down, and the mobile ions can move around and carry electrical current, which enables them to conduct electricity. They also tend to be quite soluble in water because water is a polar solvent and the ions are charged. Not every ionic compound is soluble, but they generally tend to be quite soluble. Sodium chloride is a good example of a soluble ionic compound. So if you try and build a building from an ionic compound like sodium chloride, in a rainy climate your building will slowly dissolve away. But because this is such a dry climate, the building is still here. But you can see some examples when you do get the occasional rain of where the water's trickled off the building. Have a look at this. See these ridges? These ridges are formed by water running down and slowly dissolving the salt. You'll also notice that it's quite brittle, so if I try and snap pieces off, I can just break tiny little pieces of salt off that building. And that's because another property of ionic compounds is they tend to be quite brittle. This means when you apply a force to them, instead of bending, they break, they suddenly snap. So ionic compounds are good electrical conductors in solution. They tend to be quite soluble in water, and they're also quite brittle. A final property is that they're quite hard. It's not a soft material, it's quite a hard material. So if I was to punch this brick now, I'll probably really injure my fist. So I'm actually not going to do that. But it's amazing. I've never actually seen a building made out of salt, so it's a first for everything. I don't think I'll be building my own home from salt in the future though.